I know that's right.
All right. Hey, praise y'all. Hey, everybody. Shalom, everybody. This is Brother Dwayne. And
Uncle Yahshua. Shalom,
hey, what's going
Yahshua.
on, everybody? Hey, we're
Shalom.
here. We're going to do a quick video. This is a follow up to a discussion that I actually had last Shabbat. And I wanted to address some things. And I think, we both want to address some things. And it's very important for um, the entire nation of Israel to hear. All right. So, like I said last Shabbat, many of you are aware there was a situation that took place about 2 Shabbats ago. There's a little bit of tension on the Sabbath fellowship, and it was rooted out of a misunderstanding. But I wanted to go ahead and address some things. So, Uncle Yeshua, I wanted to go ahead and talk to you real quick. I wanted to apologize to you because after we had that follow-up conversation that following couple days, I definitely was able to receive from you and understand some of the things you were going through and how things were perceived. And so during that Sabbath fellowship, I was addressing several different issues that Israel's going through, and it was perceived as if I was talking or addressing Uncle Yeshua and his situation, and I wasn't. But the reality is that I was insensitive to the situation and the circumstance that was there. My brother had been away for roughly about 4 months, 3 to 4 months. Most High was working on some things with him, and he was going in he with the Most High. So that's what that was. I was dealing with some separate issues that are also tied into the fact that there's a lot of people within Israel that they simply do not um, they don't they don't receive they don't receive. They're not willing to ask for help. They're not willing to actually have that common unity one to another, right? And you sit there and you're like, why we need each other. We as Israel, we need each other. Like there's no reason for us to be isolated and lonely and like really struggling in pain. You know what I'm saying? There's so many people that need counseling and need therapy. There's so much trauma that our people are going through or having. And it's one of those things where our people don't need to go through these different challenges by themselves. Like we as Israel, as a body, as we love one another, should be a support to one another. And we should be willing to not only give help, but receive help. And so, and that's very true. That's very for real. That's for real. And then, there's so many different things in regards to that to go down, but that's for a different time. And but the perception was as if I was talking about Uncle Yeshua, and I wasn't. I was not sensitive to the situation that my dear brother had just came out of 4 months, and it could be confused. I don't operate like I've never operated where I talk about people roundabout ways type of thing. If I address a situation with a person, I'm going to address it with that person. I'm not going to uh, put them on blast covertly type of thing. I'm, I'm going to privately go talk to them and say, hey, this or that. No one else would ever even know about it. It'll be between me and that person. Now, there's different issues that happen within Israel we have to talk about. One thing I want to briefly address is the fact that um, in this season that we're in, it's a season of heightened spiritual warfare. And that last Sabbath fellowship, the Most High had prepared me stating prayer. The people need prayer. It's not about just a lesson or some this or that. We need prayer. We need to pray and intercede for our brothers and sisters and lift each other up. All right. That being said, one thing that's vitally important is being sensitive, because Hasatan is going to want to come in, want to creep in and cause strife and division and discord, confusion. And for all of us, including myself, if you're not sensitive to the spirit, if you're not sensitive to the environment you're in, if you're not sensitive to the level of warfare you about to go into, there's gonna be some problems. There's gonna be some problems. And so, like I said, the last Sabbath fellowship, that I take full accountability and responsibility for any tension and all tension that was during that fellowship during the beginning. because I wasn't sensitive to the situation that my brother was going through and how it was perceived, right? And that's an error. That was wrong. All right. And so myself, anybody, we should be willing to admit when we're wrong. We should be able to admit when we're in error, and we should be willing to say, like I'm saying, Uncle Yeshua, my brother, I apologize to you because I was out of order. It was an error how that was done. And again, that wasn't something where I wasn't even addressing you, which is, why the tension was kind of there. I wasn't sensitive is what it comes down to. And that's why for me, again, I apologize to you. I apologize to those that follow your ministry, those that follow my ministry. Yeah, this is what it comes down to. And before you, the people and the Most High, I definitely apologize. And I appreciate, number one, the conversation we had and being able to simply address it and hear each other out without it being a problem. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts? Because I want to address some other issues, but what are your thoughts in general? Do you have anything you want to say?
Yes, that was good that you pushed it over to me. Yes, first of all, I receive your apology and I humbly accept it. And I thank you for it. This is a very, very key moment for our nation to witness two brothers come before in public and correct an error in public, because the error was committed in public and it caused misconceptions and perceptions. And it started to start division as well, because I had people writing me, and then I have people in comments and people, having their judgments on what went forth. And of course, if I'm very sensitive, like the ox said, to the spirit, and I do not act off emotion. So I literally said, okay, I need to go into quiet stillness and wait, because I was hurt by it, because that perception was actually like a reality. But perception can be reality. That's what that is.
Facts.
And it's actually truth. And I was hurt by it. So instead of reacting off emotion, of hurt, which of course I know better than that, I sat myself down, and I didn't even watch it back, nothing. I needed at least a week to be with the Father. And he was just pouring into me and pointing out the lessons that was supposed to be brought from this. This was him doing this intentionally, because like Ox said, he was going into a lesson about strong prayer against for Haiti and all the different things that's going on in this time. And he said, he just pointed out, guys, you have to be sensitive to the spirit when you're going into spiritual warfare, because what happens is spirits are invited in and you won't even see them. You'll be so focused on your mission and what you have to do that you won't be sensitive to see other spirits just lurked in, and they can literally exist and misconstrue something. Like the ox said, he wasn't even talking to me, but and he took it down, which me and the ox came to the resolution. He's like, it'd probably be wise for us to take it down, but then I'm glad you did, because we don't need to see it. But if you see it back, you watch it back, you can actually see that, yeah, it literally, because we were talking one-on-one. It was a one-on-one conversation. So when you would speak about, a general situation, it's looking like you're still talking to me, because we were having a one-on-one. So then when you would come back to me, then I would try to address, what was just said, because it's looking like you were talking to me, but you didn't see that it's looking like it. Exactly. And I did. And and I know others witnessed that. And that's why people that were writing me were saying, oh, and I'm like, no, I'm not, it's not attack. That's what they wanted. And they didn't want it to see us against. But what happens is people start to take sides, and we have to be very careful about that. That's Hasatan. He'll come in and point us against one another and have, see this, oh, see that, oh, see, yeah, this brother always have this, oh, this brother, it's because of this, why he did it. It's because of that. And I'm like, nah, First of all, what I need to do is what's according to Torah. I need to sit my butt down, do not act off emotions, wait for the Father to give me instructions. Then once I wait and I have shalom, now, okay, I have to go according to Torah. I come, as the book of Matthew state, to my brother alone. First of all, one-on-one, I reach out and I try to get it resolved to let the brother bring it to his awareness. Then if the brother doesn't receive that, then you bring 2 more witnesses. That's what would have been next if my Ak didn't receive when I was reaching out. But thank the Most High, my Ak received, he responded and he received. That's why we're even having this. So it didn't have to go to 2 more witnesses. And then if he still didn't receive, then I would have to come to you guys and I would have had to expose that spirit, because it literally was a spirit. But it didn't have to happen, because when I went to the Ak himself, as he was supposed to do according to Torah, none of us are above. No matter how powerful or who we are, none of that, we're all subject to the statute, laws, and commandments of the Most High Torah, and we have to do things accordingly, Yahshua. That's why this is a lesson for us all. And the Ak, what he did was, in all humility, he said, okay, Ak, tell me how, like what offended you? And he allowed me to speak. And I pointed out and I let him know all of the different things and what people were saying and this and that. And he was like, wow, you know, I didn't even see that. Wow, I wasn't even talking about you. You're my brother. Like, I love you. And I'm like, see, this is what was conceived. Others are thinking like this. I literally got a text. He hates you because, you know, he wants to be you. Like literally. And I'm like, this is perception. So what we just did, Yasharal, you have two elders in Yasharal, 2 elect, and I don't say that as a braggadocious point, but we have been in ministry for a very long time, me and the brother, and we've been doing this for a long time. So much is given, much is required. And, you know, we have people who feed from the word that comes through us, okay? So we have a responsibility to that. So as us having a responsibility to that, we have a responsibility for everything that we say and we do. We are held accountable to that. So when the Most High does something, because remember, he causes all things. He'll cause a stumbling block. He'll cause an error. He'll allow those spirits to come in and go ahead, I'll give you permission to do this because I want to shake something up. I want to point something out that's going on, like the Ak is about to go on about the division that's going on in Yasharal. He was trying, the Most High, okay, if one of us would have failed, whoo, thank you, Yah, speak, Yah. If one of us would have failed, me, meaning when I was on the live and when the Ak was doing the thing where it was perceived that he was attacking me, because that's what it looked like, on everything, I wanted to, you know, in my spirit, and I couldn't, I was just silence. This Yah was like silence, just silence. I watched it back, I'm like, Yah, why didn't you allow me to speak? And later he showed me no, because I needed this resolve to happen. If I would have spoke on my flesh, we'd have been contention, and this part would have never happened. Hassan would have won. It would have got division, right? But I didn't. Now so I passed that test. Now the next was on the Aki. So now I come back and then I reach out to the Aki and now it's on him. Okay, now he could have did the same thing. He could have gotten his flesh and his pride. Well, I wasn't talking about you, and I don't receive that, and you know, and I like, okay, I'm gonna come back with 2 witnesses. And if you don't receive that, and guess what that would do, guys? That again would cause division. But if that would have manifest either one, then Yah would have caused that division, because that division would have been necessary, because we can't go forward, me and the Ak as leaders in this nation, and have leaven or have spirits that can come over us and we're not humble and sensitive to it and don't repent and make things right. That's humility. That's what we're called to have. So both of us on individual ends did what was right according to Torah. And that's why you have us coming together here right now as Akis to correct the error and to born this into Yasharal, that this is what we are called to do in this time. We have the principalities fighting against us. There's days of no, it's over. We ain't got time to be playing games. There's no games. Game time over. So I receive humbly, and I thank you so much because he said, if he does receive you, what the scriptures say, guys, you have gained what? A brother. You see the difference? So that's why that smile is on my face. So when I talked to him on the phone, I received that. A ruach I was like, yes, I received, I've gained a brother, because that's what we're called to be and do. We have wars to fight. You understand? We got to be back to back. So
I'm trying to calm down on the inside right now, because it's so true. Listen, for everybody, we don't have time to be fighting with one another and strifing. Now, we talked about this before. This is not like just go along to get along type of situation, because if someone's in some sin or some serious error, then it's over with. All right. But listen, as family, as Mishpachah, we have to be on one accord. And the Most High has ordained our ministries. We're going forward and doing what we're called to do. Each and every one of us, including you that are watching, you have a call on your life. There's a path on your life. And there's a sphere of influence and an authority that the Most High gives to each of us in our lives. All right. There are people that are called to me and they can receive from me. There are people that are not called to me and they can't receive from me. Right. But all of us together working, got our hand to the plow, going forward, doing work for the kingdom. That's what's necessary right now. Like right now, what I've noticed is that there's so much strife and division amongst Israel right now, between the different camps, between the different assemblies, between the different mores and moras and individual folks and elders. And there's this spirit of division and strife that's trying to creep in and have everybody in their little silo. We can't operate like that. We are in the days of Noah, and you see the wickedness of these people on this earth. Listen, we at the end.
Amen.
And I'm excited. Even unto death. I don't care. I'm excited because everything is coming to a head.
I'm excited. These are the days that the prophets wrote about.
Let's do this thing.
Are you kidding me? We are actually blessed to be in this. You know why? I take this as an honor to be born in this day that the prophets waited for us to be the last ones to fight. I'm ready to what? Let's die. Let's go out.
Do this
going out. Babylon,
let's do this thing.
Let's do this thing.
Listen, even if it's unto death, listen, we're gonna ride this thing out. And listen, we are about to see the redemption of the house of Israel right now. Like, there's a lot of fear on the entire earth. Fear has gripped the entire earth. But who is your Elohim?
Woo! Speak out.
Who is your Elohim? Come on now.
Fear has gripped the earth, but he's ordained us to remove that fear out of Yahshua. See, we got a lot of babies. So you babies, you got to look. There is nothing that can conquer you. There's nothing that you should fear. Nothing that ain't even of Yah himself, that fear. You understand? Yea, I walk through the shadow of the valley of death. Do you understand that? I will fear no evil at all. I walk through the shadow of the valley of death with high boots on. You understand? Trampling through that thing. No weapon form can conquer, and that's what we just did tonight. That's what we're doing right now. That's what we're doing right now.
It's all good.
We're knocking down strongholds right now. You understand?
It's over. See, these demonic entities, they float around, they seeking how they can get in and wiggle in and try to cause strife and division. Listen, they try to cause strife and division in your home, with your children. You're like, why are my children acting like that? The dog is acting crazy. The dog is barking all the time. You're like, what's going on? The dog is mad at everybody. You know what I'm saying? All this chaos, but then you see the judgment of Yah on this earth. These folks know what's up. The judgment of Yah is on this earth, and now they're panicking. They're like,
on every nation.
Yes.
And they're trying to hide it as much as possible.
Oh, they try to keep a straight face.
Oh, they're trying their best. But if you just, I got a lot of stuff. I'm about to be exposing all that stuff on my channel, bringing them clips out because the worldwide news clips where they ain't showing you all the stuff that's going on. I know everybody too.
Yeah, they hide.
That's what we called to do. We call to expose it all. Oh, they're
they're scared. They don't want the media to expose what's really going on.
Because that'll really ramp up the awakening. Because people are already running scared. You understand? but we're called to tell you there's nothing to be scared of. You
No.
know, only thing you have to do is be accountable to yourself and that Torah. Turn to Yah.
Mm.
It's actually not that hard to do. It's just hard to give Babylon back her stuff. I know that's hard, especially to those who just awakening. I know that's hard, but you got to.
Let it go.
The key is it's too late. You
It's too
enjoyed
late.
Babylon, right? Babylon is over.
It's
Babylon
gone.
is falling. So you might as well give it back and get your salvation, because you'll be a fool to try to hold on to something that's already gone. They already sold all the corporations. They already built their bunkers. They're already still trying to go to the Mars, moon, whatever they lying about, how whatever crap they lie, all just full of lies. But whatever it is, it's over. They know it's over. So give Babylon back her stuff. Turn to the Most High and do mirror what you're seeing right here. The patience and empathy and sensitivity, that's the good word, to your brother, your sister, your nation, your circumstances. Because the circumstances will come. You understand? Those spirits, like you said, they lurk around trying to shoot darts into any situation, you know? And we as elders and leaders, that's what we're doing here. We have to be sensitive and careful, because we have people that follow us. So what happens is, if we are in a little piece of error, we can lead others in error.
We can't do that.
Even knowing it.
And the Most High gonna let that happen. The Most High is not gonna let that happen.
Right.
It's like, it's not, I mean, it's one of those things like, listen, my brother is a real brother for real. And he has a love for the people. He has a love for the Mishpachah. He's been called and ordained to do this thing. And it's like, we can't fall. And we have a love for the Most High, and in correspondence, a love for each other, because really, I mean, there's so much to say, but lack of time. But I will just say, my last thing is this, is that how can you love Elohim, which you have not seen, and you hate your brother that you do see?
Amen. That's actually the word. That's actually the word that you do see.
You gonna hate on your brother, but claim you love the Most High Elohim, which you have not seen? When I look at my brother's made in the image of the Most High Yah. When my brother looks at me, he knows that brother is made in the image of the Most High Yah. And we have the spirit of the Most High Yah, that regardless of any situation or circumstance, we can approach this thing, humble ourselves down, go before the Father and say, show me, help me, guide me, lead me, strengthen me, give me the wisdom and discernment to see what's going on. When my brother spoke to me and we were addressing some issues, a variety of different things, and I'm looking back, I said, oh, I see it. I saw the plan of the enemy. I saw the plan of the wicked to try to sow strife and discord between me and my brother where there was none.
Amen. And I was so thankful that you saw it.
I saw that thing. It's like, oh no.
So thankful when you said, I see it.
No, I see it. I saw it.
And I'm like, okay, that's what I'm talking. That means it's received.
Yeah.
You see, that's the difference. That's what he said. If he received you, you have gained a brother. And you said, I see it. He said, oh, no. He ain't gonna do that. I said, okay, now we're talking, I guess.
No, he ain't gonna do that. I saw, because I saw the deeper plan. I saw the plan to hurt the people. The plan is to really traumatize the people.
Traumatize the people.
Right. No, I'm not gonna do that.
And it actually manifests a little bit. I'm gonna touch on it just one real quick second.
Yeah,
and we took the video down so you can't see it. Thank y'all. But if you could, there was one occultist who I ended up speaking at the end, and she spoke. And when she spoke first of all on something that she knew not of, but she was following the perception that was on. Now, this is a lesson for us all, Yashara. You got to be very cognizant and very sensitive and understand. So when she spoke, she literally said, I stepped away from the water, which this was the water, and I stepped into the mud. And then she went on saying about how I stepped into the mud. Whew, I feel it now. And I was literally with the Father. So do you see how this is powerful? This is very powerful. It's a powerful, important lesson for us all to get, Yasharal. You have to be sensitive to the tricks of that doggone adversary kingdom, adversary fool. So what happened was, because of the misconception and the perception, she thought that she was in a correct order to speak on something that she had no idea about, because no one knew what actually happened. I didn't say it yet. Y'all willing, I'll do it for this last minute. I'll explain a little quickly what happened so you guys can know, we can kind of get some clarity. But if she would have known what happened, then those words she would have knew were actually all false. But it was because what was actually being done, perceived, people were ingesting. And so you have to be very careful and sensitive what you ingest. Individual, if you are following my ministry and you ever see me in some type of error, you have to remove yourself and actually try to remove yourself and say, okay, I'm not sure if I can receive this. I need to go to the brother one-on-one or something, or find out. But be very careful. Do not, the Bible says only a fool speaks of that in which you know not of. So that's why you have to be very careful. That's why we are called to, if you don't know the situation about a person or anything, do not elaborate, or definitely don't go on about it when I really don't know what actually happened. Because especially us as leaders, and where people hear from us and feed from us, because they can take it and run with it, and we didn't even know. And that's what happened. That's why I have people contacting me, even from overseas and stuff, because they received from it and they just running with it. And I said, oh, no. This is leaven. This serpent is slid his little butt right on in here. When I literally came on here just to say, I'm back, Yasharal, and I was ready for the prayer and ready. And he literally caused a division and caused a split. And we just,
well, I will correct that. I say he attempted to.
There you go. I thank you for that correction. Attempted to. I just said we mended it. Yep. Yeah, that's what I said. We mended it. We definitely stopped that in the tracks.
No, we're not gonna let that happen. And that was because of obedience.
Yes.
Your obedience and just my obedience to listen and hear you guys, my brother, to understand what was going on. And no assumptions. Now, what I will say to the sister's defense, and it's not really just to her defense, I take full accountability and responsibility, like I said, for all tension. It has nothing to do with the sister at all. It's a matter of I take full accountability and responsibility, and even into the fact of to try to correct that. If I was attentive enough to see what had happened and understand and process through, again, I take full accountability and responsibility for that. So I'm not going to even deal with the sister. It has nothing to do with the sister at all.
That's why
it's simply a matter, like I said, I take full accountability and responsibility.
Amen. And that's why 100%. I brought it up, because that is the option. That's actually the truth. Because like you said, it wasn't, and that's my thing, it wasn't the sister, it was what she perceived.
I take full accountability.
Exactly. It wasn't that.
I took full accountability.
It's a good lesson for us all.
Yeah, if I had handled that differently, it was more sensitive to the situation, and that you as my brother had just come out of your own situation, and then things would have been different, right? And it's one of those things where, even I said, directed to you, literally, I don't know your situation, what you went through, type of thing. So again, I wasn't talking about you, but the perception. Yes, it's coming off, and it's all bad.
And that was after all of that, and then at the end you said, "I don't even know the situation." I'm like,
yeah,
but I'm like,
but it can be perceived like I'm talking about you, but I wasn't.
It was 100%.
So, like I said, I take full accountability for that. So again, in closing, for me on this part, for time's sake, I apologize to you. I apologize to those that were on that live stream and witnessed that part, and it was kind of tense. And it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I stumbled. I'm not infallible.
Nope.
Okay. My heart was right. My spirit was right. But I was in error because I was not sensitive. I mishandled the situation. And this is one of the reasons why I tell people, don't aspire and strive to be some moray. You want the title so bad. Oh, I'm moray so-and-so. That's why more often than not, you'll hear me say, this is Brother Dwayne.
Yes.
I am a more, yes, and I receive, I acknowledge I'm a more. The Most High appointed me as a more. I understand that. But this is one of those things where, like my brother had brought out earlier, you are held to a higher standard. You are held
Yes.
to a higher account. You are accountable and responsible for what you say and what you do and how you do it. And
Yes.
I've always said this myself, you could do the right thing the wrong way,
In the wrong way.
and
Woo!
you still wrong,
Woo! And you're wrong.
and you still wrong.
And you're still wrong. It doesn't matter the intention.
Don't even matter.
It's what you did. It's the fruit.
Yeah.
We're called by the fruit. You know them by the fruit. Exactly. Now
It
you'll
don't
get
matter what you're
chastised for
trying
it.
to do.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter like this. Listen,
That was
you
good.
can do the right thing the wrong way,
The wrong way. And
it's still wrong.
Come on. So we are called, if, because none of us are perfect. We all fall short, right? But we continue to repent and get back up. This is the lesson from it all, guys. All of you worldwide who are listening, we all will stumble sometime. None of us is perfect. You are called to recognize, be humble enough, receive self-reflection. Self-reflection. Obedience is better than what? Sacrifice. So you can sacrifice all you want, but he said obedience is better than sacrifice. You understand that? Self-reflection. Always turn the mirror to yourself. If you get nothing else from it, I always say this to my ministry: turn the mirror to yourself. Self-reflect, look at yourself, then go forward. If you can't, then you're not consistently dying to self. You're not dying, you're not growing. You'll stop the growth. We continue supposed to prune and grow and die to self and burn that old flesh. And that's why I'll be calling stuff to fire. Oh, I need to thank you. And I'll wrap this up right here because in a coach, he said something about that too. Why, I called it the fire. I literally wasn't in the fire. I was in more of a wilderness. Okay. So he took me away to teach me something. What he taught me was going forward. I'm gonna do this real quick so I can wrap it up really quick. And I called it the fire because I'm so used to the fire, because whenever he calls me, I get refined. So I always relate that to fire, because that's what you do in the fire. It gets refined. So that's why. So it literally wasn't a fire, because the fire is a lot worse than that. Oh, I've been in a fire, hardcore, and it's hard. And I was not in no fire. I was literally just taken away in the wilderness. So really quick, what happened, and I'll rush this so that we can close this out. I've just realized I just added it up, because when I went, it was 2 weeks, 2 months and three weeks. So the short of 3 weeks. 3 months. It wasn't even 3 months. I'm thinking it's 4. That's why I kept saying 4 too, because I'm thinking, I just added up. I said, oh wow, the last time I was on was April 10th. I'm like, oh, wow. So I'm like, okay. So anyway, what happened to me, guys, when I went away, what happened is the first week after the thing happened, y'all see my lesson with the surgery and me not getting the surgery and stuff. So I needed to heal from what happened with the occulty. And I got a separate lesson coming also letting you know, I don't blame the occulty for that. It's just there are different spirits that go over different people. She's not an elect. She's not, there are things that can take over and transpire people, and they can have different intentions. Like the doc just said, it's your intentions is what you do with it. It doesn't matter your intentions. Okay. So what she did with it did some harm. So I had to heal from that. I needed about a week of that. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'd probably need to address this, but I'm not going to do it now. I was probably going to go back on the live, but then the Most High that's when he moved me okay, I got increase coming. I didn't know it was increase. He's brought someone into my life and okay, I'm transitioning you. You're going to move from my little apartment and to get in a new place to live. And I'm like, huh? And I was comfortable where I was at. So that's why I'm again, the Most High, when he has something for you, it doesn't mean that's what you want. It's what his will. It's his will, not mine. So I'm so comfortable. Move. Now I didn't know it's going to be this level of increase. And I'll do a video just to show. So, and not to brag or nothing, but I want you to see increase. Okay. So in the midst of all this crap, in the midst of me, not having the surgery and suffering, he's giving me increase. Understand something? In the midst of wilderness or fire, whatever you want, still increase. So I start to move, and I had to break down my whole studio. So then Most High gives me this big old house. I'll show you some little pictures and stuff, like this house, and now I got space and room, and I'm like, what is going on, y'all? And I pay not even the same amount, I pay less than what I paid. Okay, this is supernatural, like increased giftings. Okay, so I had to break down, move. Now y'all know when you move, you move, and so you got to break down your house, move into a new house. That took weeks. Okay, so by the time that was finished, it probably was at about the 7 weeks or 8 weeks, 2 months probably mark. So now I got my studio which right now I got it up and ready. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go back on the live, go back. I've been gone for so long and everything. And so then that's when this is why I put that in the video. This is what a little part that got a little misconstrued. At that point, I was like, crap, I'm about to go back on the live, and I didn't get the surgery, and I didn't get to see my children, because we had prayed before I left for me to get to see my children. And people were messaging me like, we know your surgery is already done. They were talking in the past tense, and they were talking about my children like everything was already done. And I'm like, it hadn't been done. And that's just me, not me personally. I just like to bring, some type of good news, so that's why I brought that out. That's where the misconstrued happened. So then I was like, oh man, y'all got to go back on the live and be like, guys, I didn't get the surgery and I didn't get to see my children, but it's okay. We're going to. And the next day, I woke up, and a message was on my phone. If you want to see your children, meet me at this park at 2 p.m. tomorrow. The next day, out of the blue, all that time. And I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Now, I'm not thinking of that. I'm just happy. Okay, I get to see my child. Well, yes, I'll be there and all that. No, I won't go to sleep because I work nights. I'm like, whatever. Then after I saw my children, did all the filming and everything, then I was like, okay, I'm going on the live next Saturday. And that's when I realized, oh, I got to see my children. So at least now I could come back and be like, guess what, Yashua, I didn't get the surgery. It's okay, y'all will do it. But I got to see my children. Our prayer was answered. That's why that part was manifest. And it looks like, it was perceived that I was, trying to, it wasn't that. It was, so then when that Saturday came, the Shabbat came, and I was supposed to go on the live stream on the Shabbat on the Friday, that's when y'all said no. And I said, what do you mean no? He said, sit down. Time to sit. I'm like, okay, what's going on? First, I thought I did something wrong, because this is just my walk. And I'm like, okay, y'all, like, what's up? He said, sit down. I got instructions. And that's when I knew, okay. So he gave me instructions. He sat me down for another, I think about it was 40 days. I literally didn't even realize that, because I kept saying 4 months. And when I did the numbers and everything, I'm like, it was real. I said, okay, the semblance of 40 days. And even if it wasn't exactly, it was that, I think it was probably exactly. So he gave me my increase and said, I need you to do this. I need testimonies. I need you to, when you come back, this is what I need. They need to know who you are. They need testimonies, your path, your walk, everything, because your ministry is growing, and they need to know who you are. So he gave me total instructions, and he said, this is a time of exposition. I'm going to be exposing all spirits over leaders, spirits over elders, spirits over ministry, spirits over all, and the exposition. And I put that in that lesson. If y'all watch it back, I'll make a clip that show you. I said that before this whole thing happened, a spirit of exposition, because he said there's offenses and there's spirits that are coming over people, and people are they're going astray left and right all over in the nation, as Ak was saying, all over the place. And we need to, he was like, this thing needs to be addressed. And I didn't know that the minute I went back on the live, that an issue would be created. But afterward, Ak, I said, yeah, I see, because this is everything he told me in the wilderness. But I didn't know it was going to happen right there. I'm thinking I'm coming back on, and I'm just going to go on and enjoy the. I'm like, what? That's why I was hurt. And that's when I stepped away for a week, after it happened and I was hurt, he started pouring me as I'm working. He's showing me this. I said, you are so slick, y'all. I'm like, that was good. He said, I said, of course it's going to start with us, because this is where I'm at. He called me to come here. So if it's going to be expose, if it's going to be things or lessons for things for us to bring out, of course he's going to start with us. So then, now we could have failed, both of us, and it would have been whatever needed to be manifest from that, but we didn't. And
Praise
so,
Yah.
so praise y'all. Now y'all know what happened. So now y'all know, you know, no disrespect, but I did not step into no mud. I did not step away from the water. I was with the Father, and He will do that. He will sit you down. He will call you. He will pull you back. He will sit you down to give you instructions. So a lot of times you have to kind of, you know, look for that sometimes. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to take a step back, and you literally have to get instructions of what to do going forward in that stillness. So that's what that was. And then he taught me, last thing, and I'm complete. And then he taught me then, after when he was releasing me back, he said, now, the next time I call you into wilderness, this is how you do it, because I've released your ministry so people care about you. That's what I was trying to bring out at the end on the live stream. I was like, he told me the next time he called me away, tell people, hey guys, I'm going wilderness or whatever it is, however long, because now my ministry's been released and people hear from me and they care. And, you know, I said, I've received that, y'all. Thank you so much. So that's what I was coming on to try to say. But, you know, at least now it's got to be said. And, wow, yeah, thank you so much. And I received, you know, I'm thankful that I've gained a brother in Ruach, you know, because we can be brothers and speak. You know, you're tested by the fire. You understand? You're tested by the fire. So, you know, I can say you're my brother all day, but when the fruit is born, as the book said, if a brother receive, you have gained a brother. And so I love you, Aki, and I took your word. You told me how much you love me in our private time together, you know what I mean? And I feel the relationship, you know, beside the just on the live streams and everything, it's different, you know. I feel Ruach, you know, and I told you that when we was on the phone, like, wow, I feel Ruach, you know, and you express your sentiment in your heart, and I was able to receive and express mine. So this is Yasharal. You see your two brothers coming together in all humility. You understand that? We put all airs and all that crap aside. We are two humble servants of the Most High Yah coming together to be a living example of how we are to do this. And I hope it's been received well. And I love you, Ak, and I'll be on the Shabbat, this Shabbat, just to be there, you know, just to be there. And I love you all, and you know, shalom, Yasharal. I love you, Aki. This was edifying. This is very edifying for our nation.
And one last thing I want to say is that, as you stated, my prayer is that the healing that comes out of this situation is one that can also be made manifest in other relationships that people have. All right. Within the entire nation of Israel, there needs to be a healing. Now, some folks are not going to receive, they're going to just do their own thing, and that's what they're going to do. But as able, and you always just do your part, we have to walk in love. And so my prayer is that, again, the example that's seen here in us coming together, walking in true love, walking out Torah for real, not just talking, but walking it out for real, for resolution and reconciliation, that spirit can actually permeate throughout all of Israel, so we can have restored households, restored ministries, restored relationships, period. So praise Yah. I appreciate your time. And those of you that are watching right now, appreciate your time as well. And we will see you here soon. All right. So shalom, everybody.
Shalom, everybody.